had a disturbing dream. You can only recall one part. A tall figure with a golden mask led you among the dead as for a wedding celebration. You heard many voices, but no lips moved. The figure with the golden mask greeted you, saying, "There are many news in the house of the master. Be easy, for from the hands of your enemies I have golden mask spoke to you, but you understood not a word." He smiled and seemed pleasant, but when he reached to touch you, it terrified you, and you tried to deal with the tall figure with the tall figure with the golden mask. The tall figure with the golden mask. The path of destiny for those born with the burden of prophecy is rarely without numerous trials and tribulations. Many a time one of these tribulations are meaningful dreams which are, more often than not, terror-inducing. As one chosen by fate, or in this case Azura, the Nerevarine is no exception. During Moon and Star Reborn's journey, he or she has 3 disturbing dreams and a rather forthright vision. These visits to the world of dreams leave the reincarnated Nerevar shaken and concerned, and each occurs after a milestone during the journey of fulfilling the prophecy of the Nerevarine is completed. The first, after Moon and Star, brings the Dwemer puzzle box to Hasvat Antabolus in Balmora, signaling that he or she has unknowingly started on the path to fulfill the prophecy. The second and third, after the Nerevarine, speaks to Adiranir and Mira Milo respectively, both of whom can be found in the city of Vivek. And the final dream, or rather vision, occurs once he or she speaks to Nibani Maesa, the wise woman of the Urshilaku Ashlander tribe. One by one the sleepers awake, and little by little danger draws nearer and nearer, at times way too close for comfort. Drem Yol Lok, Zur Valbo, and welcome to my study here in the alien and beautiful land of Morrowind, and more specifically the province of Vvardenfell. If you have come here after our stay with Parthurnaxa Demonaven, I do hope you heeded my advice and packed lighter clothing and eye protection to make the ash storms more bearable, and that your journey was pleasant. And if you are new here, please be welcome, braan, bovitaan, fellow adventurer, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Our focus today is going to be on the Nerevarines' disturbing dreams and who or what is behind them. In spite of Nibani Maesa informing us that it is Dagoth Ur himself sending them, there could be much more to this phenomenon than what we are shown and told. We are going to propose alternative culprits who could be behind Moon and Star's night terrors, and before that, offer a brief analysis of the symbolism behind each dream, or at least the first 3, given how straightforward the 4th is. Said analysis will be expanded on as we investigate who may be behind the Nerevarines' dreams, if not Dagoth Ur himself. Without further ado, let us focus on the inked pieces of parchment where I have documented my research. Let us begin. Mora now Minda. You had a disturbing dream. You can only recall one part. A tall figure with a golden mask led you among the dead as through a wedding celebration. You heard many voices, but no lips moved. You strained to breathe, but your chest didn't move. The tall figure spoke with each figure as he passed among them, laughing and joking as if they were alive, but they made no reply. You tried to cry out, but without breath, your tongue fluttered in vain. The wise woman of the Urshilaku tribe interprets the nightmare as follows. These dreams are the black lies of the Sharmat Dagoth Ur. Dagoth Ur himself is mad. He is dead, but he dreams he lives. He hears laughter and love, but he makes monsters and ghouls. He woos as a lover, but he reeks with fear and disgust. Do not listen. Do not go to him. Whilst Nibani Maesa words her interpretation beautifully, and it is the correct one if Dagoth Ur is indeed the sender of the dreams, which will briefly be our main topic of discussion shortly, and we shall focus on it more thoroughly by the end, allow me to touch on other symbolism present in this nightmare. Setting the tall figure with the golden mask aside, the first detail that leaves an impression is the comparison between the situation the Nerevarine we find ourselves in to a wedding. A wedding in dreams, much like its real-life counterpart, portends a new beginning, commitment, and emotional growth. Nonetheless, this is no ordinary marriage ceremony, for all the guests appear to be dead, even though Vvardenfell acts as if they are very much alive. The meaning behind death in dreams is actually quite similar to that of a wedding and simultaneously very different. New beginnings, changes, closing of a chapter of one's life and opening of a new one. In the tarot deck, the major arcana Death, which is depicted by Padome, Chaos and Change in the Elder Scrolls Tarot, foretells metamorphosis, a deep change to put it simply. The sense of entrapment the Nerevarine feels here, not being able to scream or even breathe, is present in one more of the dreams and will be discussed shortly. Nu Amativ. Let us focus on the next nightmare. In your dream, a tall figure with a golden mask greeted you, saying, "There are many rooms in the house of the Master. Be easy, for from the hands of your enemies I have delivered you." It seemed you had died and could see yourself laid upon a table lit by candles. But with your own hands you touched the figure, and the figure drew breath, opened eyes, and rose from the table. Then the room was gone, and the world filled with light, and you awoke. Nibani Maesa interprets the dream as follows. These dreams are evil sendings from the Sharmat Dagoth Ur. He promises you shall live forever, that you shall gain the power of life and death. But he is the father of lies, and thinks to trick you with his gifts. Do not listen. Do not go to him. The first detail we will focus on here is actually extremely interesting, and namely the many rooms in the house of the Master. An abundance of premises in dreams symbolizes, among other odd, development of skills and hidden feelings and memories. Candles can symbolize hope, secrets, and inner guidance. As for moon and star touching the dead figure, which is us ourselves, and said figure drawing breath, I believe this could be interpreted as Nerevar finally beginning to awaken in his reincarnated body, as the Nerevarine continues further down the path of fulfilling the prophecy. Now, on to the next one. You dreamed that a tall figure with a golden mask spoke to you, but you understood not a word. He smiled and seemed pleasant, but when he reached to touch you, it terrified you and you tried to escape, but you couldn't move. You tried to cry out, but you couldn't make a sound. The figure kept smiling and talking, but you felt sure he was trying to cast some sort of spell on you. When you woke, you couldn't recall how the dream ended. This dream's interpretation, according to Nibani Maesa, is the following. These dreams are the tricks of Dagoth Ur. He speaks to you, but you must resist. He bends his power to compel you, but you must resist. You are in danger, but your heart is wise. Heed your heart. Do not hear the voice of the Sharmat, for it will drive you mad. We cannot set aside the tall figure with the golden mask here, for he, Dagoth Ur, is the sole focus. The sense of entrapment from the first dream makes a return in this third one. The Nerevarine is terrified of Vorin but cannot voice it, cannot pull away. We feel manipulated as if our interlocutor has malicious intentions behind his smiles and gentle caresses, as if he is trying to cast some sort of spell on us. What I find quite intriguing is that this appears to be the only dream where the Nerevarine is unsettled by Dagoth Ur himself. In the first nightmare, we are mortified by the dead who seem to whisper. In the second, we do not find Vorin's presence suffocating or disturbing. The same goes for the final dream, which goes as follows. In your dreams, a tall figure in a golden mask spoke to you. Lord Nerevarine Doro, higher as Dania, long forgotten, forged anew. 3 bellied you, 3 betrayed you. 1 you betrayed was 3 times true. Lord Vorin Dagoth Ur, steadfast liegeman, faithful friend, bid you come and climb Red Mountain. Beneath Red Mountain once again, break your bonds, shed cursed skin, and purge the Enwa from Morrowind. And the wise woman's interpretation. This is a strange dream indeed. The Sharmat Dagoth Ur speaks to you in the voice of prophecy. He curses the 3 betrayers, the 3 false gods Vivek, Almalexia, Sotasil. He calls you to drive the Outlanders from Morrowind. This is a very strong dream, very cunning, a dream to stir hearts. This is a very good lie. He called you Nerevar, and the dream of the Nerevarine is very strong and very dangerous for you and for all my people. This final dream plays more like a vision directly sent to the Nerevarine by Dagoth Ur. Its purpose is very straightforward, and as we find out ourselves at a later time during Moon and Star's journey, Vorin is not lying. He is entirely sincere in his invitation and his intentions. This one, I believe, does not require any additional analysis. When it comes to the disturbing dreams themselves, we can conclude that most, if not all of the time, they invoke terror in Moon and Star Reborn. Each of them ties into the prophecy of the Nerevarine in some way through its symbolism, for instance, new beginnings, growth, secrets, hidden feelings and memories, the final vision, returning from the dead, and Dagoth Ur is present in every single one, playing the most pivotal role. Due to the latter statement, the Sharmat's status as awakened Lord of the Sixth House, and by extension his abilities, and the disturbing nature of the dreams, at first sight there is no reason to suspect that our old friend Vorin is not the one sending them to us. Nonetheless, specifically due to their horror-inducing nature, some among the Nerevarine suspect that it is, in fact, not Dagoth Ur who is preventing us from resting peacefully. The argument behind this declaration is that Vorin wishes for us to join him, to become a part of the Sixth House cult and purge Morrowind from Outlanders. Why would he seek to mortify us when this is his objective? Wouldn't he ensure that the dreams he sends us are tempting and inspirational? The counter-argument to this is, Dagoth Ur was driven insane by the exposure to the heart of Lorkhan and corrupted by Kagranak's tools he was tasked with guarding by Nerevar. What we view as disturbing and awful, he sees as inviting and welcoming. Not to mention the numerous sleepers we can meet across Vvardenfell, whose dreams are undoubtedly the work of Vorin, since once we kill Dagoth Ur's ascended sleepers, these poor souls who were previously driven mad by their nightmares make a full recovery. We will come back to this topic later and discuss it at more length, but for now, we shall turn our attention to the possible alternative reasons behind the Nerevarines' dreams, or at least the first 3 in specific, given the nature of the 4th, which was more than likely indeed sent by Dagoth Ur. The first and most popular alternative theory is that it is Azura sending her champion these disturbing dreams as opposed to the Sharmat. The Queen of Dawn and Dusk is Nerevar's and by extension the Nerevarines' chief deity. It is she who has set us on this path. It is at her behest her champion was reincarnated to begin with. Azura is known to communicate with her followers through dreams. She sent her cultists visions of the eruption of Red Mountain, thus saving many Dunmer from a certain death.
This shrine was built by the Dunmer. As our land was scorched by fire and brimstone, Azura's prophecies led us to safety.
She speaks to the Nerevarine in a dream at the very beginning of our journey, and then sends us another vision, this time when we are awake, once we find the cavern of the Incarnate and take the moon and star ring from her waiting hands. And finally, after the fall of Dagoth Ur, Azura appears before her champion, congratulating us on fulfilling the prophecy and declaring that we are now free of its burden.
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Wake up. We're here. Why are you shaking? Are you okay? Wake up.
Nerevar reborn, incarnate. Your first 3 trials are finished. Now 2 new trials lie before you. Seek the Ashlander Ashcans and the Great House Councillors. 4 tribes must name you Nerevarine. 3 houses must name you Hortator. My servant, Nibani Maesa, shall be your guide. And when you are Hortator and Nerevarine, when you have stood before the false gods and freed the heart from its prison, heal my people and restore Morrowind. Do this for me, and with my blessing. You no longer bear the burden of prophecy. You have achieved your destiny. You are free. The Doom Duima's folly, Lord Dagoth's temptation, the Tribunal's seduction, the God's heart freed, the prophecy fulfilled. All fate sealed and sins redeemed. If you have pity, mourn the lost, but let the weeping cease. The blight is gone, and the sun's golden honey gilds the land. Hail, Saviour, Hortator, and Nerevarine. Your people look to you for protection. Monster and villains, great and small, still threaten the people of Vvardenfell. Enemies and evils abound, yet indomitable will might rid Morrowind of all its ills. For you, our thanks and blessing, our gift and token given. Come, take this thing from the hand of God.
The reason some believe this is the truth behind the dreams is that they are quite disturbing, and it would be in Azura's best interest and Dagoth Ur's worst interest for the Nerevarine to be repulsed by the 6th house and its patriarch, as opposed to be tempted to join him, and as a result condemn Morrowind and eventually all of Tamriel to a corporous pandemic, and possibly worse. Or if we wish to dig deeper, she could have desired to prevent us from wishing to save our old friend from himself, his insanity, and try to redeem him instead of killing him, still angered that this was not an option, thus defying destiny, the path that we must follow and likely doom the world in the process if we stray from it. It is possible for us to say that we would have joined Dagoth Ur if we had a, and I quote, cunning plan or the right guarantees, and while by the time we reach Voren both are off the table, the mere fact that these are dialogue options speaks volumes. Furthermore, as we mentioned before, each dream carries symbolism that can be successfully connected to the prophecy itself, or perhaps even interpreted as disjointed memories of Nerevar's past life. Given Azura's abilities and her direct involvement here, it is indeed a possibility that she is sending her champion these disturbing dreams, the first three in the very least, in order to help keep us on the right path. Another possibility is that Dagoth Ur is indeed sending the Nerevarine the dreams, but Azura tampers with and modifies them into more terror-inducing versions of themselves, for the reasons we spoke of previously, which in its core still means that she is behind the versions of the nightmares we experience as we set out to fulfill the prophecy. The next theory is that nobody in particular is sending Moon and Star the dreams. They are merely symptoms of the Nerevarine prophecy and/or incoherent memories from our past life as Indorial Nerevar Mora. If we revisit the symbolism behind the dreams we touched on earlier, we will see that many coincide with the prophecy. 2 of 4 hold meaning of new beginnings, changes, and growth. The second hides within itself symbolism of hidden feelings and memories, secrets, and rebirth. All of these are especially true for the journey of the Nerevarine and manifest in numerous different ways as we progress further and further. If we take the speculation that they are memories from Nerevar's past life surfacing in the world of dreams through the subconscious into consideration, we can even interpret them less surrealistically and more literally. The wedding of the dead, if I may describe it in such a manner, could be connected to various memories involving a group of people being present, a meeting of the first council, battle preparation, even the actual wedding between Nerevar and Dalmalexia. The fact that the figures are dead could quite literally reflect that nearly all present for these events have left the realm of Mundus thousands of years ago. And Dagoth Ur's presence could simply signalize that Vorin was indeed present then, and not only that, but will play a most pivotal role in Nerevar's present life as well, albeit in a different manner. There is another more literal interpretation of this nightmare, and much more sinister, which will be discussed when we return to the original claim that it is Dagoth Ur himself sending us these dreams. In the second dream, we have a dead Nerevarine. It seemed you had died and could see yourself laid upon a table lit by candles. Then we, Moon and Star Reborn, touch the figure with our own hands and the figure draws breath. We have been delivered from our enemies, the tribunal who betrayed and killed Nerevar and mutilated his corpse. There are many rooms in the house of the Master, many paths which we are to take to fulfill the prophecy, an abundance of choices, of hidden memories that we are to unlock. In the third dream, Vorin speaks to the Nerevarine in what appears to be warm, friendly fashion, but we are terrified of him, yet we cannot pull away. Once upon a time, during the First Era, simpler days for both Moon and Star and his loyal servant, this would have been a breath of fresh air, a moment of peace shared between two people who care for one another. But now, during the Third Era, it is torturous, for our friend is not the Vorin Dagoth we once knew, but a maddened god whose schemes will bring nothing but endless suffering to the world. Nerevar Reborn no longer feels safe in his former companion's presence. We only feel dread, and rightfully so. And the fourth dream, which appears to have undoubtedly been sent by Dagoth Ur, lays out his plans directly, so we are aware of what our journey, the prophecy, is ultimately culminating to: the vanquishing of our once cherished companion. Keeping all of this in mind, it is entirely plausible to assume that these nightmares indeed occur merely due to our precarious status as a child of prophecy, as Nerevar Reborn, and are not really sent by anybody in particular. One could argue that this still ties into Azura being behind the Nerevarine's dreams, since it is she who has set said prophecy in motion, but technically in this case scenario she does not tamper with the visions herself. Therefore, they are symptoms of being the reincarnation of Indoril Nerevar Mora. The third theory is that it is Dagoth Ur sending us the dreams, but he does not intend for them to be as disturbing as they are. The heart of Lorcan modifies them to push us away from the thoughts of joining the Sharmat in his self-imposed quest and instead encourage us to free it of Kagranak's enchantments and, by extension, defeat Dagoth Ur. Lorcan, also known as Shor among the races of men, is a dead deity who fell to the elven giants, the Aldmeri pantheon, in their battle at Red Mountain, where his heart is located. In spite of being gone from the realms of Mundus and Aetherius, in the sense that he is no longer what he used to be before he met his demise, he still manifests in both, Sovngarde having been created by him, and his heart underneath Red Mountain being the heart of the world of the mortal plane. I could not find any confirmation on whether the heart of Lorcan could possibly have such an effect to modify dreams, and there is no concrete information that Lorcan himself could communicate through and/or send visions. Nonetheless, considering that it was corrupted by Kagranak's tools, perhaps the speculation is not too far-fetched. Especially since Dagoth Ur's abilities as a dreamer are derived from his unique connection to the heart, it is also because of this very relation that he is still quote-unquote alive. Another intriguing detail which may or may not support this theory is that the short blade keening, one of the tools created by Kagranak to manipulate the heart and exploit its power, is described as having been made of the sound of the shadows of the moons, and the Master and Secunda are believed to be Lorcan's corpse by some. If this spark of divinity, namely the heart, could indeed influence the Nerevarine's dreams, it would be logical for it to push us away from the idea of joining Dagoth Ur in order to be freed by us from Kagranak's enchantments. While I have no further evidence to support this theory, I believe it is not as unlikely as it may appear to be at first sight. And finally, we return to the original claim that it is Dagoth Ur who is sending us the dreams and nobody else. This is what we are told constantly by Nibani Maesa, and it is indeed supported by more than just her words. To begin, Dagoth Ur is the dreamer. His abilities revolve around manipulation of dreams, around sending nightly visions that can drive people insane and/or make them loyal to him. Here is what Vivek says about Dagoth Ur's abilities. He is able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. Whilst traveling across Vvardenfell, we will meet sleepers in every major city we visit who have been manipulated by Dagoth Ur through dreams. If we take it upon ourselves to kill the ascended sleepers, these crazed citizens will be freed of their insanity and share with us that they feel as if they had been awakened from a bad dream. Vorin has the means and reasons to send us these disturbing dreams in an attempt to seduce us into joining the Sixth House cult and aid him in his quest of purging Morrowind from Enwa. Now we are going to expand on this counter-argument we mentioned at the beginning of our research as to why, in spite of wishing to have us on his side, he is the cause of nightmares as opposed to of tempting visions. Dagoth Ur is insane. As Nibani Maesa says in her interpretation of the first dream, he woos as a lover but reeks of fear and disgust. Vorin does not realize that for a sane person, his dreams would be alarming as opposed to inspirational. Or perhaps he does realize it and, as we mentioned before, simply seeks to drive us mad. What he views as paradise as an opportunity for mortals to touch divinity, is in truth quite literally a terrible disease that brings nothing but pain and endless suffering. He believes he rewards his servants for their loyalty to him, but in fact he tortures them, furthering their insanity. Let us see what some of his ash slaves have to say.
The chairs, the tables, we're confused. We hear the words and must speak them. We take them and arrange them, but still they will not be quiet. Everything is wrong. This is not straight. This is too high. This isn't my way. We must put it right.
And the ash zombies.
Where are you, Lord? We cannot hear you. Speak to us, please. What are you? Where is this place? I'm so tired. Let me sleep.
Furthermore, now the dreams have much more literal and sinister meanings, which fall in line with Nibani Maesa's own interpretations. In the first one, the whispering dead that surround us in what appears as a wedding represent the abominations Dagoth Ur himself has created, his ash slaves, vampires and zombies, ascended sleepers, corpse victims. He talks and laughs with them as if they are alive, because to him they are. In his eyes they are enlightened, for they have touched the divinity, they have seen the truth he offers. He leads the Nerevarine around, wishing to make us a part of this paradise of his, showing us the rewards of serving him, which, to Vvarden, are abundant. In the second dream, he has delivered us from the hands of our enemies, and the enemy in the present day could be interpreted as the Empire, the Temple, the Ashlanders who are trying to manipulate us, but he has rescued us from them, allowing us to be reborn, to have a place beside the rightful ruler of Morrowind, Vvarden Dagoth Ur, Lord of the Sixth House and Mourner of the Tribe Unmourned. There are many rooms in the house of the Master, his house, and we can choose whichever we desire, even if he has prepared one for us upon our arrival.
Welcome, Moon and Star. I have prepared a place for you.
In the third dream, he speaks with us, reveling in our presence, just like old times. Two friends reunited once more, discussing their plans over a glass of wine and a richly seasoned kwama dish, except what we drink now is blood, and what we consume is corpse flesh. And finally, after having enlightened us, after having shown us the temptations of the Sixth House, the rightness of his cause, he calls us openly, directly, ready to embrace us as a part of his cult, even as an equal. I have nothing more to add except for this beautiful quote by Peakstar, one of the failed incarnates that never fails to make me misty-eyed. Pity Dagoth Ur and the Sixth House. All they do, all they are is foul and evil, but they began in brightness and honor, and the cause of their fall was their loyal service to you, Lord Nerevar. You told Lord Dagoth to guard the profane tools beneath Red Mountain, and thus he was tempted. He did your bidding when he tried to keep these tools from the tribunal, and so he hates you who betrayed him and the tribunal who mocked his honor, attacked him, and stole the profane tools for their own use. And on that emotional note, today's research has come to an end. The Nerevarines' dreams are as fascinating as they are disturbing. Rich in symbolism as many nightly visions are, leaving room for various interpretations and speculations. Whether their cause is truly Dagoth Ur, Azura, the prophecy itself, or even the heart of Lorkhan, nobody can deny the effect they have on all of us Nerevarine as we progress through our long and difficult, but no less rewarding journey. This is the beauty of the lore written within the Elder Scrolls, of its mysteries. It is our story, and the choice of It is an utmost honor and pleasure to exchange knowledge with you, Di Fadone. Arkun Slat Kogan, thank you all for your continued support of my work. I do hope you enjoyed, and I cannot wait to have you here again. But until then, Lok Thum, wealth beyond measure, Fadone.